Okay, what up everybody? It is your favorite Asian robot right here, and one day I'll be your favorite Diablo 4 content creator. Now, I've been taking a little bit of a break from Diablo 4 because honestly, I was burned out as shit on this, and now I am back doing the content. I'll still be grinding, but I've got other games to grind as well because, quite frankly, other games respect my time a lot more. You guys know how I feel about the grind. It is tedious, it is boring, it is really not a fun season right now. Town is freaking dead. Any other town other than other than Kyovashad is like nobody in it. I don't know. The game just feels lonely right now. But still, I know many of you guys want my content because you guys want to use the builds that I make. Sure, no problem. What I'm going to tell you about in this video is the Necromancer build that I use to level up to 100. This is the endgame Necromancer build that is best suited for leveling right now. Okay? What I also want to say about this particular build is that it is designed for leveling. It will not beat Uber Lilith. It will not push Nightmares 100. Why? It is literally designed to give you the fastest possible leveling speed during your leveling process by being able to one-shot things at the maximum barrier of 10 levels. Again, I have feelings about this level offset. I hate the level offset, but this is what this build was designed to do, and it has done so very well. If you dedicate the time to it, you will literally clear level 100 easily. Then after that, you can switch your build to whatever you want to beat Uber Lilith, push Nightmare 100s. There are builds designed for this, but this is not designed for that, okay? I just wanted to make that clear at the outset. This is for leveling. This is for leveling at the fastest speed possible by using Bone Spear to one-shot things, at the appropriate level, and that is what I'll demonstrate, okay? All right, now, follow me on this. So, skill tree-wise, you guys should already know this is exactly the same as what has been posted before. There's no deviation. Hemorrhage is still being used. Why? It's just a great hit scan attack, very useful for building essence up in between. You've got your Bone Spear, all right, this is your main form of offense. You've got your Unliving Energy, imperfectly balanced, all of this at 3. You've got your Hewed Flesh at 3. Why? Corpses are good. You've got your Corpse Explosion. Now, a lot of these ranks come from item contribution level, but there's nowhere else better to put this in. If you really want to go for curses, you can actually take out some of the points in here and chuck them into amplifying damage. That'll work as well, but since my version doesn't use curses, since enemies die instantaneously anyway, I just stuck the points in Corpse Explosion. Yeah. Blood Mist only needs 1 rank. This is to avoid CC when it was really unavoidable. Now I think the CC is a little bit better. It can still be problematic, but as long as you're not facing off against a suppressor enemy, you should be fine. All right. Grim Harvest 3, Fueled by Death 3. You guys should recognize this already. Death's Reach 3. Death's Embrace is for the close damage reduction mostly. That one's also 3. You've got your Corpse Tendrils. Again, I only put 3 ranks into this. You could choose to max it out if you really want to by taking out points of Corpse Explosion, but because you automatically cast Corpse Tendril with this build, you really don't need that. Also, your Bone Spear is so overpowered that it will absolutely rip through enemies, so it doesn't really matter. Again, whether you have ranks in Corpse Tendril or not. So, yeah, this is why Corpse Tendril is at such a weird place, but yeah. 6 out of 5, thanks to my 3 from an item. Enhanced Corpse Tendril, Plague Corpse Tendril, you guys should know this. Serration for more critical strike chance. Compound Fracture for bone skills dealing more damage after critting 10 times. You've got Evulsion, where bone skills will deal 15% increased critical strike damage to vulnerable enemies. You've got your Standalone and Memento Mori. And last but not least, Ossified Essence. Okay, so the skill tree has no major changes from any of the previous incarnations of this build, with late game, early, mid game, still the same, all right? Now, what you're probably wondering is why I don't have my Golem here. Okay, what I'm going to teach you is that as you push toward the higher levels, you will start to be able to kill mobs that are 16, 17 levels above you without difficulty, all right? Those that are 10 levels above you are going to get instantaneously wiped. However, that is literally the maximum that you can get anyway because of the level offset. So since you cannot clear since you literally want to clear as fast as possible, right? You will no longer need your Golem for defense. So what I did was that if I don't need my Golem for defense without investing any other points anywhere, I just switched it over to an Iron Golem, and I sacrificed the Iron Golem for critical strike damage. That's it. That's it, and you're good to go. Okay? So this is how you can make your build even more offensive so that you can absolutely decimate enemies instantaneously. Yeah? Okay, that's about it. Now, let's go into the main meat of this. What you guys really want to know. Now, Book of the Dead has no other changes, by the way. Book of the Dead is still the same as it was all along. What you guys want to look at is the Paragon tree, right? Okay, by the time I've reached level 100, and I will happily showcase this entire tree to you guys in the planner. Make sure to check that link. Okay, what you've got here is that for the Necromancer, once you've gotten all four trees, which is Scent of Death, the Bone Graft, and I also had Flesh Eater because there was literally no other better option. Once you've got these four trees, you want to just max them out because literally you don't have any real options, because what you're looking for is the critical damage, vulnerable damage. There aren't really a lot of options for that, and you want to have stuff that is situational to you but helpful, right? So I went with as much armor and life as I could get. So here's how I did it. Basically, Paragon starting node up on the right hand side. For the first board, the completed board should look like this. I've got Prime, Knowledge, Preservation for the huge armor. I put the Gravekeeper glyph in here because I found it quite useful, to be frank. And you can get by with it just using a minimum amount of dexterity, but I mean, it's up to you. I didn't have anything better to do, so I chucked in some extra dexterity. All right, so this is what I did here. I got the resilience as well. Resistance against elements doesn't really help, but max life is useful. So I got that. Coming to the Bone Graft board, I have the Tenacity, Calcified, Reinvigorate. I've done Entomb, legendary node, of course. The glyph here is the Essence glyph for increased critical strike damage. It is absolutely useful. All right. Shaper of Bone is necessary, and I decided to pick up Erudite as well because I just didn't have any other better options. Resistance against elements is better than nothing, so that's what I got. And like I said, I really didn't have anything better that I could have picked up with that. All right. For the Scent of Death tree, I've got the Ruin, and I've completed the whole thing because, like I said, nothing better. I went down here for Corrective as well for critical strike damage. I went all the way up and put in the Imbiber glyph. This is great for damage versus healthy enemies, so it's great for one-shotting. Death Marked and Preservation were taken, obviously, for more armor and for more damage versus injured enemies. This is utterly useless, though. But I picked it up for the just to get to these nodes here, right? Just to get to these willpower nodes. That's why I didn't finish the whole section here. All right, I really would have liked to get Deathbringer as well for more armor, but meh. I mean, meh. This is what you could. This is the best that you can do. Either that, or I would have gotten more max life with Shadow Resilience. But again, you know, you do what you can. All right, for the Flesh Eater board, this is the least complete board, but I got Stifle for the extra critical strike damage. All right, you don't really have any choice but to pick up this damage versus injured enemies. I went down here for the damage versus elites. If I had just a bit more dexterity, I could have obtained this. I could have obtained a nice little bonus here, but you know, honestly, it's okay. The glyph that I put in here is actually the Exploit glyph. Previously, I put Exploit here, but there was no need for me to put it in here because I had swapped it over to the Gravekeeper. I put Exploit here because Exploit has more dexterity points, therefore giving you more vulnerable damage if you put it in this board instead. All right. Then I just grabbed as much dexterity as humanly possible all around this area, and that was it. That was literally it. So this is what I have been using strictly for the leveling process, and I'll demonstrate how it works. The Paragon boards are like, it's not a complex thing. You just go in there and absolutely annihilate everything for the level. Like, for example, if you're, say, level 80, you're fighting level 91, 92 minions, you will absolutely decimate them as long as you're following this type of board. So yeah, you will really be fine. Don't even worry about it. I focused on getting all the damage nodes first, and then I worked on the armor nodes and life nodes later on because they just weren't as necessary. Until then, my golem sort of like acted as a health bank, and then once I was ready, I just got rid of the golem, went all in on the other defensive nodes, and then just annihilated most enemies. All right, so other than that, right, in terms of your gear, I will go through the Malignant Hearts first, as before. We have the heart that automatically activates your corpse skills. All right, I believe that's sacrilegious. We have the Barber Heart, standard. Please make sure you have this. Okay, and of course we have the Brutal Heart of Revenge for suppressing damage. Okay, across the board, these are the same 3 hearts that I've been using all the time. So that is the same. In terms of legendary aspects, on my sword, I've got my usual splintering aspect. On my necklace, I've got my grasping veins. All of these are maxed out, by the way. I've got the serration aspect on the ring. I've got the edge masters aspect on the ring. The cadaverous aspect on the gloves. For my helmet, I'm still using Deathless Visage. For my chest piece, I've got the adventurer disobedience aspect. For my legs, I've got my aspect of might. For my boots, I would have preferred the Ghostwalker aspect, but I just happened to have the explosive mist and I just left it in there because I had nothing better to do with it. All right, excuse me. That is literally it for the aspects. In terms of gear stats, again, it is exactly the same as what you guys have encountered before, okay? Exactly the same. No difference, none of that, okay? So going at for the jewelry first, critical strike chance, damage to critical strike damage, vulnerable damage, but I've had literally no luck with gear, so I don't even have perfect stats on this one. Critical strike chance, vulnerable damage, critical strike damage, and if you can, get maximum essence or, you know, core skill damage, damage versus crowd control, anything that would boost you up, all right? Or you can get critical strike damage and critical strike damage versus with bone skills, so both those work. Again, this one is a more perfect ring. I've got critical strike chance, damage, vulnerable damage, and maximum essence. It's beautiful here. For my necklace, I always go for maximum movement speed, and that's literally it. If you want, you can go get essence cost reduction, but for this one, I only managed to roll damage stats, so whatever, I went with that. You can choose to go for more ranks of imperfectly balanced if you manage to get that, up to you. But for the most part, I would movement speed is your main priority, and I still haven't gotten anything better than this, so I've been using this. For your sword, for your weapon, make sure, once again, core skill damage, critical strike damage, vulnerable damage, and then any other type of damage. You also want DPS per second to be as high as possible, so you have to go for something that has the highest possible item power and then perfect stats. Really hard to do, but that's part of the grind that gets tedious and boring, FYI. Boots, movement speed is your priority, essence cost reduction if you can. Damage reduction while injured has saved my butt a lot, and I've got dodge chance there. That was about it. I really couldn't find anything better. For my pants, maximum life, damage reduction versus close, distant, and total armor. Ideal stats. There we go. Chest piece, again, damage reduction versus close, damage reduction versus distant, max life, total armor. But here I've got an imperfect chest piece because I really couldn't find anything better. Yeah, I grinded to level 100 and still couldn't get a better chest piece. Loot problems in Diablo, yeah? For your gloves, critical strike chance, attack speed, bone spear ranks, critical strike damage with bone skills would be perfect. I happened to get a really good roll on this, except for the critical strike damage with bone skills, but that's extra, so I didn't mind that. Deathless Visage, try to get the rolls as high as possible. It generally comes with more or less perfect stats, but if you don't want to use this, that's also okay. Roll with total armor, max life, max essence. That's what you're going to need, okay? But if you can, Deathless Visage is kind of best in slot unless you're going to have a Shaco. All right, and that is it. That is literally it. And yes, I've got royal rubies in all of them, royal emeralds in my weapon. Okay, I know I covered this at high speed, but guess what? There really isn't a lot of playroom here. These are the best stats across the board. Every build uses these stats. Why? Because they are the best of the best. There are some niche builds that are more suited for dealing with certain things like Uberlilith, whatever, that will use different stats. That's okay because they have a different system. All right, make sure you follow. If you're changing your build at level 100 to go for Uberlilith, if you're changing your build to go for the level 100 nightmares, make sure you alter your stats, farm the gear. And again, that's going to be another process. It's the only reason why I'm clearing these level 100s. I'm clearing these characters level 100, but I have no motivation to really go beyond that. Okay? Hopefully this will change in Season 2. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to show you how this works. So, bear with me, yeah. Let's just see. A tier 72 would be perfect. Okay, the enemies would be more than 10 levels above me, and I could easily demonstrate the process of using this build. Like I said, again, this build is designed purely for one purpose. Guys, it is designed purely for one purpose. Okay? It is designed to help you level up as fast as possible. Now, this video, it might sound strange to you that how come this video is shorter than the late game video? You know, I don't even need to do a video cut or anything like that. Well, I'm going to explain why. It's because the endgame build's main focus is for me to talk about the Paragon points. Nothing much changes in terms of leveling between the late game build and the endgame build other than the Paragon points, which is why the longest focus of the video is on that. The rest of it is just to show you that my gear stats have hardly changed. I haven't done anything different. Okay, the enemies here, as you can see, they're dying. They are 26 levels above me, alright? You should have no trouble at this stage in the game. Alright, all you really have to do is trust in your attacks. Your Bone Spear will take care of everything. Okay? You literally don't have to do anything. You can put in 0 effort and still win. Okay, are you seeing that? I am playing one-handed, guys. I'm not even touching my entire skill bar. This is why this build is so easy for leveling. It's just pressing an I win button. Oh, look at that. My hand is still up here, FYI, guys. Now, I don't recommend playing like this, okay, because number one, you're going to look like a moron, and number two, you know, you don't want to look like a moron, right? And you might think to yourself, holy crap, how is this build not effective against Uber Lilith? Against Uber Lilith is a different type of animal. She is something different that you have to take on by specializing in single target damage, bursting her as quickly as possible. That's why you will have a very different build that may not be suitable for, you know, this type of AoE destruction. Okay, so just be aware of that. Uber Lilith and Nightmare Hundreds require a different kind of building skill. Yes, you can also use those for leveling, but they may not be the most efficient for leveling. When it comes to leveling, what you want to do is terminate the greatest number of enemies in the fastest time possible with minimal strain. Alright? You should be able to do this to enemies 10 levels higher because, again, that's the maximum XP offset. You cannot gain anything further beyond that. Okay? So if played correctly, again, I'm still not using a single skill. I'm still not using a single skill, but I should. Alright? But this is why it's so good for leveling. I am literally pressing an I win button. I have my other hand up here. Wiggle, wiggle. Let me just double check. Y'all can see it, right? Wiggle, wiggle. Okay? I look absolutely dumb, but this is how good the build is. It requires no effort. It is the number one build that requires 0 effort. You know, probably if I were to play the same thing in Season 2, there would be no problems whatsoever. I could probably end up playing the exact same build and absolutely decimating my opponents with no difficulties or struggle. Like, this is how absolutely insane I picture this build being. Oh look, a unique. That's nice. I don't know what it is, but that's nice. Okay. So yeah, I'm just putting it down because my hand's tired now. But realistically speaking, even without the golem, this thing will absolutely shred most enemies. Take your potions as necessary. You don't have to play like I'm playing, obviously. You can easily get up to tier 80 nightmare dungeons with this effortlessly, but there's no reason to do so. If you really want to push level 100 nightmare dungeons, please make sure that you get an appropriate build for that. Okay, because without perfect gear, well, this could technically do it, but you would need perfect gear. And also you need to focus a little bit more on damage reductions. They tend to be far more crucial when you're looking at the end game, so just be aware of that. That's why some builds are designed with that in mind rather than, you know, a lot of the other stuff that we have. That and a good elixir will usually get you through. But once again, you know, my goal is to try and max out all my characters for this season. As painfully boring as it is, that is my goal. And I don't really have anything else I feel like doing, so... Yep, that's about it. That's about it. Okay. Alright. I'm just going to go through the rest of this demonstration because, as you can see, it's taking all of 6 minutes to do. Okay? It's really not taking me long at all. Just wipe out everything. If I really want to, I can just Blood Mist into position. As you can see, enemies will just get insta-shredded. Like, I could have gone up to a tier 80 to show you guys the same process, but the only reason, like I mentioned, not doing that is because this build is for leveling. There's no point in me going too far above. As you can see, I'm already way above the recommended level and doing exactly what this build is supposed to do. I have not pressed a single thing other than when I deliberately pressed my Blood Mist. I wasn't even in trouble, I just felt like positioning with it. So now that they've softened the CC in the dungeons, and of course there are no elixirs with this build as well, just letting you know. But now that they've softened the CC and everything, it shouldn't be a problem for most players to just go in, absolutely decimate, and come back out. Okay, that's it. And with your high movement speed, you should be able to easily clear most dungeons. Yep, there you go. Sorry, demons, I'm speeding off. Bing! La 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 la. Okay, here's the boss. Unlock. Now, I'm gonna hit him with a nice little triple, and then he's dead. Okay? There you go. Boss fight over. No trouble, right? Oh hey, I got Fist of Fate with 290! Sick! I'm gonna give this to my wizard. For fun. Oh, and I got Lidless Wall as well. That's nice. That's okay. That's pretty nice. All my other glyphs are maxed out. Yeah, I'll just chuck the points into Amplify. Okay, back to town. Alright, so that's it for the endgame Necromancer build. Like, literally, you can just use this, press an I win button, and you win. Okay, this is as good as it gets for leveling. Like, when you want to level fast, this is it, because you literally press one button, and you hit level 100. The only danger of this build is that it's so boring you might fall asleep during the process because everything is too easy. You know, by the time you get to level 100, you're like, I don't feel like it anymore. Well, you know, them's the breaks. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you guys want a shout out at the end of every video, alright, become one of my supporters. You can become a channel member, donate, you can just be at my streams all the time, you know. I'll bring you into my Discord family if you do that. But basically, we always shout out our top supporters, our top channel members. So thank you all very much for watching this. And okay, about to thank the top people for my channel. Had to literally reshoot it because I revealed my earnings and everything, which I really don't want to do. Okay, so sorry about that. Right now, it's a new month of September, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to contribute if you guys want to be shouted out at the end of all of my videos and also listed in all of my streams, by the way. So you want to get your name out there. You want that little bit of clout. Top super chatter right now, King Anubis. All right, thank you guys very much. All the other spots for the month are open. It's not just the top people to get shouted out. All the people to contribute also usually go into the list, unless the list populates to an abnormal extent, which it hasn't so far. So, yeah. Feel free to put your name in, all right? Right now, even $1 gets you in. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. I mean, I'm not kidding about $1 getting you in, but I'm kidding about, you know, you have to contribute or whatever. It's optional, but it would mean a lot to me if you guys helped keep my content running, okay? Our top channel members right now, Big Chungus at the Only Fan level, thank you so much. We've got Death Donnie 982 at Plus Ultra. We've got Jerry Fast, OG, Rogue Assassin, Zach MG at Prestige. Thank you guys so much. In terms of our honored robots, we have Juan San, Corey Ryu, Marcel, Kaishiwa, Bob John, Cube, Devin Lashin, Mookie Mocha, Rena, Chase Taylor, Nathan Strong, Nightshade, Lady Neo, Joey Danze, Che D12, Syed Assad, Coda CMF, Kami SMH, Conrad C, and Benjamin Savage. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to all of our cool and weird bots as well. I'll see you guys on the next video, okay? Catch me live on stream. Catch me on Kick as well if you want to kick it up with me. I'll see you guys on the next one, okay? Y'all have a good one. Enjoy the endgame Necromancer.